Hi, welcome to my channel Siren Hair Art. Today I just wanted to tell you a little bit of something about me. I've been in the hairdressing industry for 25 years and I've owned my salon Siren based in Warwickshire for 13 years. I'm really passionate about creating gorgeous Instagram worthy hair, and a big part of the work that I do every day in my salon is colour work. And the line of colour that I use is ASP. And I'm really fortunate as well to be an ASP UK ambassador. Today I've got a tutorial to show you my step-by-step guide of how to create this perfect contoured balayage. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so this is my ASP colour palette. I'm creating a pearl and velvet blonde balayage. So with my colour palette today, I'm starting with the Ice Cream Pre-Lightener, which is a non-ammonia gentle pre-lightener. I've used that with 3%. This is my next colour here, which is the High Lift Portfolio 12-1. I've used that with 12%. Then I've mixed here the 923. I mixed that with 3%. And then my next colour here, which is slightly deeper, to give them that lovely velvet tone, is the 824 and 701, equal amounts, mixed together with 3%. And that's the colour portfolio that will help me create the beautiful soft velvet multi-tone balayage today. Okay, for this contoured natural balayage, the sectioning pattern that I'm going to follow today is something that works really well for me. So I'm going to show you that and hopefully that you'll be able to follow that and that'll work really well for you too. First of all, I'm letting the hair fall in its natural parting. It just falls slightly off centre. All of my sections that I will follow will be a zigzag section that shatters all of the section pattern that helps create a real smooth, seamless blend. So first off, I'm going to put in the contoured area, which is going to be around the hairline. So I'm going to scoop that round from the front of the head round to the top of the ear, and that'll be a zigzag section, and that'll find my contour later that I'm coming back to. So I can make that as heavy or as fine as I want. I just want it slightly thicker than that. So that's a good amount of hair there. You can see I've got a zigzag section that's going to help break up and soften the hair, and following from the parting to the top of the ear gives me that perfect contour area here. So I'll section off from the crown. I'm going to clip this away. And then, so that's the section of the contour on the left hand side, and I'll do exactly the same on the right hand side. Keeping the section from the crown to the ear, and then putting in my contour zigzag section at the front hairline. You can do that as heavy or as fine as you want. If you just want a real fine light contour, a slightly thinner section, or a heavier contour, take that back a little bit heavier. So I followed that pattern again all the way down to the ear. This section I'll clip away. So these are the contour sections around the face. And when I start my balayage, I'm using the foil technique, and I'm starting from the nape up. Then I'll do the contour section, then I'll work on the sides, and I'll show you how I separate that. So starting at the back in the nape, again I'm following the same pattern where I'll take a zigzag section. So I'll do a heavy zigzag here, right in the nape. That's my first section here. This will be clipped away. So this helps me customise my section pattern for every client. You can make it as heavy or as fine as you want. You can isolate where the colours will be by the section and pattern, and show off the contour as much or as little as you want. And following this zigzag section helps me shatter all lines and makes it really seamless and perfect on the finish. So how I'm going to work this, I'm still going to do a heavy weave. So I'll weave that, and I'll still back comb that to help me soften the line. So as I work up to the crown, all of this pattern will be followed exactly the same. It will be zigzag, push back, and then when I apply the colour, I'll show you how I'm going to feather the colour in. So the foil will go underneath. I'm just going to decide what colours I want to work with. Normally I'll start a little bit lighter underneath, mix up the colours, slightly more natural through the top, but I'll explain that as I go. I don't like to do it too light in the hairline because the hair is normally a little bit finer and a little bit more fragile, so I'll start with my high lift. I'm just going to place that on first, so I've got a little bit more control of how I'm going to hold the foil and where the hair is going to stick. So by placing that on quite firmly, the hair's in place ready, and then I can start putting the colour on and personalising how I want the colour to be. So the higher up I'll work the colour, the more of the balayage effect you'll see, or the lower down will be a little bit more of a natural finish and natural blend. So that's all through the mid-lengths to the ends down. Now I'm just going to feather that top section and then leave this top section free and natural. By feathering, I'm using the edge of my brush and just wisping that colour down, so I haven't got any flat or sharp edges. And then with how I showed you with the zigzag section and with the back combing, all of that will really completely shatter through the hair, so it's a real foolproof way of doing a beautiful balayage that's a perfect result. So that's the first section done. I'm just going to close that. You can keep it just real simple and easy, you don't have to make it really hard, so you follow an easy pattern all the way up. That's my first one. I'm going to go to the next one now. So this section I'm splitting in two. I don't want to work with too much of a heavy section. I'm still going to weave it, and then this time I'm going to blend the colour, starting with a slightly softer tone and then working into a lighter tone, which will give me the balayage effect. And so I'll start on this section because it's still lower in the nape. I'm going to start on the high lift and then work it into the ice cream colour, and I'll show you how I'm going to smudge and blend that in. So see how I've placed the high lift colour here? Before I feather the top, I'm just going to feather the bottom, which will help me do a perfect blend now into the pre-liner. So I'll start the pre-liner a little bit below where I started the feathering technique. Making sure all the hair is saturated, and now I'm going to feather and blend those two colours together. So when you look at this section now, you can see the high lift blending seamlessly into that pre-liner. Now I'm just going to feather the top with the high lift. Exactly the same as on the first section, using the edge of my brush. That's that section done. I'll cover that with foil. Just completely leave it like that, and then I'll follow and do exactly the same on this section. So this section I'm mixing up the tones, starting with the deeper colour. I'll follow exactly the same pattern how I'm placing the colour on the hair before I feather the top. So this section of hair on this row, I'm blending in the colour from darker to a softer lighter colour using the 824701 mix first and then into the 121. This will give me the multi-tone velvet look, so I'm not keeping it all completely light all the way down or too pre-lightened. Some of the darker tones I will take all the way down to give that multi-tone of hair, so it's all very personalised and all very bespoke to your client how you want to do it, so you can pick and choose on every section how you're going to personalise the colour. So this section I'm creating a slightly lighter effect, starting with the 923 into the pre-lightener ice cream. So you can see as I feathered that, you'll just get this different tone coming through as the pre-lightener hits and mixes in with the tint. That's perfectly normal, so don't panic. As long as you've feathered and blended that in, you'll get a real perfect seamless blend. So just use the edge of your brush, put the tint at the bottom with the pre-lightener, and then see how I've just scooped and feathered that up so it blends in to the tint. And you'll get that perfect seamless blend. I'm just going to soften the roots at the top now. Make sure I've got the right colour. So this section here I'm mixing a mix of 3 colours, starting with the deeper tone because I'm working higher up to the crown now. Then I'm going to use the mid-tone, which is 923, and then the pre-lightener cream on the ends to get that nice creamy ice blonde on this section. So on this section I've used the deeper shadow of 824 and 701 blended into the high lift 121. Last section on the top. So this last section on the top, I've blended that in from the 923 into the high lift into the pre-lightener, just as a different technique to go through the top layer here. And then I'm going to start onto the contour sections now at the front. So this is my contour section that I've already left out at the front. The zigzag section all around the front hairline. This is going to be a baby lights technique, and we're just going for a soft, gentle contour effect. If you want it heavier, you can do a heavier weave or even slices. So with this one, we're doing baby lights, but again, each section I take will be a zigzag, just help shatter and soften the lines. But the baby light foils will give you a real soft, gentle, lighter contour effect. So I'll start at the sides. I'm just going to section out the fringe area that I'll work on last. I'll start on the side section here. So my first section in the hairline, I'm just drawing a zigzag section at the front, so it's not going to be a straight line, so it just softens every section that comes out, and then I'll weave that and I'll follow that up on this area only. Because I want a lighter contour but still really soft, I'm just going to do a mix of the high lift and the pre-lightener on this area only. I won't be doing any blending on this. So on that first section there, I started off with the high lift because, again, as I explained in the nape, the hair is really fine and fragile at the front, so I always start with a gentle colour and then I'll build up onto the pre-lightener next. So I've done a zigzag section and then I'll weave that, and then I'll use the pre-lightener on this foil. So you can see this time I'm using the flat of my brush to make sure I get really close to the hairline and press quite firmly so the hair stays in place, so you get a good control on the hair and the colour as well. We're not over saturating it either. So that's that first section done on the side panel. I'll do exactly the same with the side, and then I'll do the front hairline too. So that's that front section done now. Now I'm going to continue baby lights on the very top panel. So I can separate these side sections now. I'll just do that in the centre of the parting, so it'll just be slightly more to the left. So this section I'm going to continue the baby lights, taking zigzag sections really super fine and weaving each section as I go. And then with this one I'm going to add more darker colour, so it has a veil of deeper velvet tones falling over the lighter blondes, and as it melts into the real pale colour on the ends. So I'll just mix this up as I go. So with this section I used the darker shadow, that was the 824 and 701. I've taken that right from the root and then I've faded that at the very end into the 923. That's that top section done now. I've done more of a deeper root drag into a very slightly lighter end, just to give you a veil of darker colour to add to the soft velvet balayage effect. So to progress the lighter colour underneath, I'll follow the angle, do zigzag sections and do lighter pieces of colour now through the two side sections. So there was a slight progression of the contour at the front. The first section I wove and took to the root area. This section I'm going to weave and backcomb and follow that to the top, and then I'm going to angle the direction of how I blend the tint to follow the contour, so it'll start higher at the front and slope back a little bit lower towards the ear. Okay, so we've had a 45-minute development time now. I've checked the foils and we've got this really lovely seamless blend all the way through the hair now, so that's ready to shampoo. So this is the big reveal of my contoured balayage using velvet and pearl tones. As you can see, the blend is seamless. If you follow the techniques that I've shown you today, you'll get the same seamless blend. You can customise the colours to however you want them mixed using the ASP portfolio brand that I showed you today. I'll show you the front as well with that soft contour finish at the front. Just gives that real gorgeous seamless balayage look. So I hope you really like it and I hope you're inspired to create it and you'll follow the steps and get the same perfect result as well yourself. So thanks for following me with my step-by-step tutorial today. I hope you really enjoyed it and please comment your thoughts below as well. I'd love to hear from you and thanks for watching.